Hi there, Aquarius. Thank you for joining me for your weekly forecast for week commencing the 26th of September. On the 9th of September, Jupiter, the planet of optimism and of course of good fortune, moved into the part of your horoscope that's to do with expansion. Now last week the Sun moved there, and the two are going to be combining all through this week, well pretty well all through this week. This is going to give you a real go-getting mentality, I feel, and your mindset can be that anything is possible, and with that cooking away you're going to convince yourself that it can be, or will you, because there's still a lot of psychological activity in your situation that's going on in the sign of Capricorn. Pluto's been in that location for the last 7 years, and it has at times been an uncomfortable transit. Pluto stirs up things that perhaps we'd rather not look at, and it has been tracking backwards for the last 5.5 months. But it goes forwards on Monday, but it does also forge an amazing link with Mercury still, running on from last week. And through to Wednesday of this week, if you do want to probe into any situation, do your research and get beneath the surface of what things appear to be, then I do feel that you can unearth some real gems in terms of your own reality, the connections that you make. But Mars moves into this location on Tuesday too. Now Mars, when it makes its way through what's known as the 12th solar house, can be a turbulent transit. It can stir up anger, and it can also stir up a lot of tears too. Essentially, it tends to rake up any unresolved angers. So if there is any stuff that's outstanding from your past, even if you feel that you've visited it, cleared it up, resolved it and moved on, it may have a tendency to come up in these coming weeks. But Mars can be very positive in this area too. And it suggests that someone who was very influential in your world in the past could be about to make an entrance back into the here and now. And so you have a bit of a dichotomy. On one part of your horoscope, there could be the desire to travel, to experience new cultures, to learn new subjects, to perhaps expose yourself to different ways of doing things. And yet, in another part of your situation, there's some very powerful energy stirring up some deep stuff. So how's it all going to marry out? Well, I feel that some of the journeying that you can do can actually be absolutely inside of yourself, inside of your emotions. And a growth can come about through this process. It may not always be particularly comfortable, but it can take you to a place where you feel much more at peace within yourself. And then once you go through that, you can start to explore all the goodies that Jupiter, in its transit through Libra, is going to offer in pretty well over the next 12 months. Now, that's not all this week, because Venus, which continues in a very influential part of your scope, forges a great link with Mars. This suggests that your ability to cultivate good relationships, particularly in professional situations, through a certain amount of discretion, can really hold you in good stead. And part of this can come from the fact that Jupiter combining with the Sun reinforces the fact that you can be someone who's very trustworthy, fair-minded, sees the big picture, because remember, Libra is about balance. It's also about justice. So that basic fair-mindedness of your nature can be something that other people can want to expose you to new opportunities. But they may want to have some chats with you, some scoping conversations, and these may need to be discreet at this stage. It's also possible that in your love life there could be something that's going on that's very important, but you may not necessarily want to share it with other people at the current time. The converse can also be true, that perhaps you're going to reach a point where you're much clearer about what you want because Venus and Mars combine so positively. But by the end of the week, they're also forging a link with Neptune. Now, Neptune, of course, has been a mischief maker since the middle of May in its right angle with your traditional ruler. That continues this week, unfortunately. But I think with Venus and Mars in attendance, what we're talking about here is using your imagination and creativity could actually be something that other people can be impressed by, as long as it stands the scrutiny in terms of being sustainable, being worthwhile, and actually something that's going to stand the test of time. But Saturn actually turns into a good guy for you later this week when there's a new moon in Libra, which is all about growth. It's all about the big picture. It's all about knowledge. It is all about travel. And the angle with Saturn suggests that what you learn now that's really important can actually become really part of you and become really the elements that form the foundations within the new being that you're evolving into. So very exciting stuff. You may even find that there's some influential people that you're talking to, especially as far as knowledge or information is concerned, or perhaps people want your skill set in that regard too. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.